Alright, 1915, 1914, not sure. Some people call it one or the other, and I think that's probably, I don't know, I'm assuming here, but it's probably just a technical disagreement on the mathematics of how to figure the CCs on these Volkswagens, but I call it a 1915. This is a single deuce carburetor is what I call it. It's got this is a 40 IDF made by Weber, I believe. It does have two velocity stacks underneath there. Not sure if what the jet work is on it, but after talking to Hambone and giving him a little data on it, it doesn't fall on its face. The car doesn't fall on its face when I slam the pedal to the metal, so hopefully they've done it right, and I think Hambone agrees to that, but I'll never know until I actually get in there and take it apart someday. But it's running right now, and I'm not going to mess with it until I have to, unless I get totally bored and just want to tinker and educate myself. But anyways, we'll move over here to, got a Holley fuel regulator back there. Got my own little homemade pressure gauge there. It's not really the most accurate gauge because it's gauged for higher pressure, but for now it gives me enough data to know that my PSI is not too high on that. I think I've got the wrong coil on here. This is a black coil. I'm not sure what the era is, you know, what it ohms out at, but I have a feeling, and Darren probably will let me know for sure, or somebody out there that knows for sure. I'd appreciate it if you would. I probably need to change this out to a blue coil, but I have the Petronix electronic ignition in my 009 distributor here. I modified the doghouse, or the air fan shroud, you know, it's called the doghouse. Modified it to receive heater tubes so I can run those down to the heater manifolds on the exhaust so that I can get heat into this car. I know it's Arizona, it doesn't get too cold out here. It's kind of funny, but if you drive up north, up into Flagstaff or the White Mountains up there in Show Low, it can get pretty cold, and I'd like to take this up there in the winter months or close before or after with the family just for fun. So I'm preparing it for winter weather. I did that, you know, on both sides. Just put a little manifold up there on the back there and welded it on, drilled the holes, welded it in, and it should be pretty good. Works pretty good. Kind of an old school setup here. You know, it's a single deuce on the, and it's separate intake manifolds here. You know, there's one tube here. There's actually a gap in between these, and it's another tube here that goes down to the dual port heads that this motor has on it. It does have the heater tubes on here as well. A lot of people end up cutting these, so I had to do some patchwork on this one. I think they cut them to get them off easier or something, but that's been repaired. And it's kind of like a hammer paint that's on all my tin in here. You know, I do have all the tin. As far as I'm aware, I have all the tin. It's kind of dirty right now, so I got Bondo dust or body fill dust all over everything. I haven't given it a good wash lately, and I'm not really going to do that until I have to. It's got a handy dandy little oil dipstick here. It's an upgrade, I believe. Not sure what goes in this hole, but probably needs to be plugged up from what I'm understanding to keep heat out or whatever. Don't know exactly what type of pulleys these are on here, what size, etc., but this one says CP on it. You know, it has a graduation marks on it for setting timing, things like that. And this one says CE on it, which I probably won't be able to focus in on that, but that's on my alternator, which, you know, obviously it's been changed out from generator alternator, so it's 12-volt system, not a 6-volt system. It does have a lightened flywheel on this motor, and this is an AS41 case, which from what I've read, it's a pretty good case to have. As far as the aluminum and magnesium content goes, I think people prefer this type of case on the Type 1s when they're going to be modded out. You know, it's 1915. It's got, from what I've been told, you know, this kind of stinks. That's what happens when you just buy something versus doing it yourself. You don't know exactly what's inside the motor, but you have to rely on the person that's selling it to you to be honest with you. And I'll find out someday when I have to tear it apart. But he told me, and this gentleman that's out in East Mesa, that it has Molly pistons. It's got the stock 69 crank, Volkswagen German crank in it, 8 dowel. It's got what else? It's got the light and flywheel, Molly pistons. It's got aluminum push rods. It's got their stock dual port heads, but he said there was port work done on them and a valve job recently before he put them on. It's got the 1.25 ratio rockers on those heads, and we'll see how it flows, how it runs. But you know, it's a 1915. It probably should have 042 heads on it. That's what I'm thinking. But it's not in the budget yet, so that's something I'll have to wait as far as an upgrade goes. Anyways, I haven't started this thing up for a while, and so I thought I'd go ahead and do a little startup video. It's been probably too long. It's been sitting too long, and it needs to be turned over and move those valves up and down, and you know, keep the moisture from going in. From what I've been watching on Darren's videos, it's a good thing to do, you know, and get them running once in a while. So I'll see if I can get it started up here real quick and let you hear it. It's got, you know, I went ahead and ceramic coated you know, the headers on this thing. It's got a, you know, it's not a real long merged header, but it does have a header on it. It is, I believe it's a merged header, even though it's real short merged, so the extraction's probably not real great on it. But you know, I'm running I'm running the dual exhaust, MP dual exhaust on here anyways, you know, quiet pack, so it's what I like. It's what I grew up around, those and Stingers and Monza exhaust, things like that. And I really liked the way the dual quiet pack sounded on guys' cars, so I went with that. But anyways, better get to trying to start this thing up because I only got a couple minutes left to try. Because for some reason I'm only getting about 10 minutes on my phone recording. So let's see what we can do here, and we'll hook up. Let's see, we got our power to the coil. It's kind of a rickety setup to get it started, but it's what I have to do for now until I get the electrical all done. And just hook up the negative on the battery, get the fuel pump running. And we'll make sure we're in neutral here. Get a little fuel in the carburetor, the bowl. Might not be saying that correctly, but it's been a long time since I've been around carburetors.